It's so much easier to defer to what we know, but is it better? Hey there, welcome back to my channel. You've heard me talk before about the headwinds for the modern woman's retirement. And some of those things, like women being paid 80% of what our male counterparts are paid, are requiring some legislative changes, or at least some industry changes where companies recognize the need to equalize the pay. That's going to take some time, but some of the headwinds, and particularly the fact that women invest too conservatively, that's completely changeable today, right now. In fact, I'm going to challenge you to make some changes on your portfolio if you feel you might be investing too conservatively today. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for regular pleasant financial conversation. And for you ladies, jump over to my online community on Facebook, Pleasant Financial Conversations, where we talk about all things money, and you can ask any of your questions there. I'll be there to answer them. So the fact is that women lack the muscle memory associated with stock market decisions, investment decisions. In this video, I want to give 2 examples of ways that you can increase your risk tolerance safely. The stock market, cash flow decisions, investment vehicles. So think about the stock market, cash flow decisions, investment vehicles. So naturally, if we have delegated to somebody else and we don't have the container or the group of people where we can be talking about these types of things, we will, as human beings, revert back to what is comfortable. And what is most comfortable to a woman?
Wearing Snuggies. That's right, Snuggie. It's like a giant blanket, but it's got sleeves.
Savings account or very conservative investments that are just barely invested in the stock market. And so what happens is that women are investing too conservatively. So what does that actually translate to in money decisions? Well, it means that either she just has less in retirement because her portfolio won't grow, and so then she'll have less money to live on and might be cash strapped in retirement. Or she will oversave in her years leading up to retirement. And when I say oversave, she has to oversave because the stock market isn't gaining what it needs to in her portfolio. Her portfolio isn't gaining with the stock market as it needs to. Flip that. Okay, so if her portfolio isn't gaining in the way that it's supposed to, then she has to save more and more and more just to get to that same dollar amount, okay? So let's talk about 2 ways that you can help yourself stretch your risk tolerance just a bit so you can get more and more comfortable with the stock market. The first is simply to take the money that you have, that you typically might have invested fairly conservatively, maybe it's all in bonds, or maybe it's in CDs, or maybe it's a savings account, and keep half of it there and invest half of it the way that your financial advisor would recommend for someone your age with the time frame that you have to invest. That way, you still have the comfort of the typical way that you like to invest and the way that the paperwork works and all of that. That matters on a psychological level, but also you're getting introduced into a new environment where you see new movements happening, and obviously under the guide of a professional. The second way that I recommend is if you are partnered with a financial advisor and you tend to be someone who doesn't check your statements. Here's the secret. Most humans don't, I've noticed as the advisor. We just stack up that pile of mail stacks up to the side and we know we're gonna get to it eventually, and yet somehow we just don't. So if that is your personality and you're not checking an account balance on a regular basis, so of course there are the people that do check their balances on a regular basis, daily or weekly or monthly, but if you're not someone who checks your balance on a regular basis, then you can stretch your risk tolerance a little bit more because you're not overwatching the movement as it happens day to day. Therefore, you're not raising your internal anxiety as you see the markets go up and down. And when you're partnered with a professional and we do have a market correction where the market is dropping, then you have them to go back to and be your sounding board to say, hey, I'm feeling really anxious about this, because the account will be moving more than you're typically accustomed to. And that financial professional is gonna step in and talk you through the emotions. And a good professional is gonna be one that doesn't change your investment strategy as the market has dipped, because, well, we all know it's a bad time to get out when the market has dropped. So what I really like about that is that you're using a tendency that you already have, the lack of checking statements, as a positive tool, and you're partnering with an advisor that's gonna help you coach you through when the market drops, that you stay on the path that you need to. Of course, that's all well and good as you are still in the accumulating years, but as you are tiptoeing towards retirement and making some of those final incremental decisions towards retirement, this is where the rubber hits the road, and you want to make sure that you are teamed with a financial professional, like a certified financial planner like myself, where you can talk about what it means for your investment portfolio to change from this time of accumulating, going up a mountain, to decumulating, coming down the mountain and really drawing from your portfolio to satisfy your monthly needs. So that is a specialization that I have working with women as we're stepping into retirement, walking through those portfolio withdrawals, making sure that we're doing that in a way that doesn't withdraw money too quickly. So if that's something that you're interested in, go on over to my website, www.pleasantwealth.com, to request a meeting and get started. And until next time, friends, you take care.